Hi, good morning everyone. Just a quick update on what we've been up to. So we were down in the States for a couple of months. We did a whole bunch of awesome collabs. Went to Cerro Gordo with Jeff Williams, Gly, Scott, Randy and others, and we filmed a whole bunch of stuff around Death Valley. So now we're back home. So we put our house up for sale, and we're building a place up at the mine. We're going to build a new house up at the mine, and we're continuing to work on the mine. So we're going to bring a whole museum underground to the mine and have just a great place for you guys to come visit. Most of it's probably mental. You don't like dark places that are wet and you're claustrophobic. You have a bunch of phobias and stuff. It's not going to be the place for you. Our house that we put up for sale. You can see in the background there's the museum there, and there's our house. We're on 25 acres right in town here, and there's our hay shed, and there's another little trailer that I rent out. So we have it for sale, and when we sell that we can build a new house and move up to the mine. Yeah, we got all our supplies up here at the mine here. So we got a bunch of track, and we have these air line fittings to bring our airline in here, a bunch of timbers that we sawed up, some of our lumber, and this is for cutting up for ties. And we put a whole bunch of pipe in here, so the water's kind of slowed down a little bit, but there's water running out of the mine year round. Kind of handy to keep your drinks cold. Pretty cold water. And I'll have a walk in here. We'll show you what we've been up to. Hi ho! It's off to work we go. So come on, let's go!
You're crazy. So Frank went out to play on the hoe for a while. And I'm gonna keep on mucking this spot out. I think we still have a lot of digging left to do to get down to where we can put some more timbering in. Some of this is fairly easy digging and some of it is super hard. Frank has to chip with the pickaxe and then I can shovel it.
Hey, we're trying to keep this dry, so we put this sewer line all the way to the back here to keep it dried out for us. And the idea is we're trying to keep the water off of keep those timbers dry. We don't want to have them rotting on us. So it's getting a lot drier. It's a little bit of water coming out through that pipe still. So what we've done is we decided to put we've cut the ties to fit in between the 8x8s along here. So that's the idea. So the reason we put that steel pipe in there is to keep it keep the weight off of the plastic pipe, because the plastic pipe's a little soft, so the steel is actually holding it up. So the ties are actually holding the timbers apart at the bottom. So if we get a bunch of weight from the sides, some rock and stuff falls in here along the sides, it's not going to push it in, because some of this is kind of crumbly on parts of it. And there we go. So we don't have too much further to go here. And then we get into some pretty solid rock. We don't have to timber it all. So we're just going to keep we've got to put stalls and timbers in this scabbier stuff. So as we go back, any fill we have, we're going to fill right flush with the ties. So that'll keep the ties from moving. And should keep the water dry too. So what you want to do is keep all those timbers dry. Like they're starting to dry up. We just did this yesterday, so get all the moisture away from them timbers. And then hopefully they'll last a long time. So yeah, it should be pretty good. I got good, lots of headroom, and be able to walk through here pretty easy. And our big mine cars will fit back here. Well, it's coming along. So the other problem we got is this calcite. It's really hard there yet. So we need to have our compressors to break that up. We're gonna have to drill that and maybe use Dexplex or something in there, because it's just like cement. That stuff's really hard. So we need to get a bunch more of that. The problem is we've got to get our compressor going, and we can't get it going because we got a problem with this carburetor, if you can believe it, just because the carburetor is keeping us from hooking our compressor up. So once we get this compressor fixed, we can get the carburetor sorted out, then we can put air lines. Air lines will come all the way right in here, and then we'll have air to run the jackleg to drill out the rest of the rock. So yeah, she's coming along pretty good. So in the meanwhile, we can just carry on and keep putting laying our track all the way to the outside. We're gonna have to do a little bit, maybe we'll have to see. We're gonna have to do a little bit more work on part of this. Like say, we don't really know when we're gonna be able to open this, because you know, we think the mine part's getting closer, but it's really not safe for people. So this rock here, we're gonna have to do something in here and put whole bunch more cribbing in here. There was a rock that fell on Sharon. It wasn't that big of a rock. I think it's one of these ones, about that size. Just when she shut the door, just because, you know, all this is pretty scabby, so you think it's not bad, you know, if you're just going to sneak in here, it's okay. But you can't have the public coming under stuff like that. So we're going to have to build something on the outside here to completely enclose all that in. We can't have rocks falling on people's heads, so we... And then the other thing that we're planning on doing here, so we got the plans for already, we're going to put a big building right here. It'll be a compressor shed. It'll come right to the edge of the track here. And right in this area here, it'll be a 20 by 50 building. So we're going to bring our power in from there. We're going to have to demolish this concrete footing, which was from the original compressor, but there's nothing we can do about that. But yeah, so we're going to put a big building in here. And so it'll be like an open on this side. It'll be like a blacksmith shop and our compressors and all that kind of stuff. And we'll have a roof over it. And you'll be able to walk right in, and there'll be a whole bunch of displays and stuff in here of mining stuff. So we're just waiting for some permits, and then we're going to start building this right away. 1,000 square foot building right there. Oh, we made some good progress today, and what we're doing is we're laying our track. So brought all this track up here, and we're finally getting her all laid in here, and it takes a little bit of engineering to figure out how to be a track man. This is a spacer for a track. That didn't do us any good because it's a 24-inch gauge. We're 18, so 18 gauge, so 18 inches between the rails. So we got our water laying in the ditch, and we're going to have a board in between the tracks, so it's going to be easier for people to walk along here. So there we go. It turns out you don't really got to be all that fussy about the grade and stuff. The thing that's important is how far. Well, first of all, we want to have a 48-inch clearance here, because the plan is that we want to try to get our mucker back in here, and our other car's quite wide, so it's barely got enough room. So the reason why we've got lots of room with the flat car here, obviously, but kind of narrow for other stuff. So yeah, so there she's coming along pretty good. So all we're doing now is we're just measuring. It doesn't take very much effort to roll that cart. That cart weighs about 500 pounds. So we just measure about 13.5 inches from both sides, and then that gives us the right gauge of the track, and it rolls along there. And this is like really good heavy track here, so I don't imagine we're going to have any problems with it ever derailing or anything like that. So it takes very little effort, as you can see. So the mine, it goes slightly downhill, so the water runs out, and then it also makes it easier to roll. Hopefully it's not downhill too far. You get in our cart doing about 160 miles an hour by the time it hits the bottom. There you go, it's working all by itself. Don't even need a donkey. Be a lot handier to use the flat car to bring timbers and stuff in rather than trying to haul this stuff. They're pretty heavy. So the idea was that we just have this old steel line here. It's all rusty. We're not going to use it. It's too small for anything. So we put it on the other side of the PVC pipe to keep the weight of the ties from crushing it. So that's going to work pretty good. And then we'll just leave that in the ditch there like that. And then we can cover it all up. The drier we can keep it in here, the better preserved stuff is the better stuff will be preserved. So I don't know if we're going to fill that up full of rock or what we're going to do there. We'll see.
One of our jobs today is to move the converter that we had down by the main road up to where we think will be its final resting place on the property. Looks like the Frankster had a bit of a crash with the hoe. I'm not sure how that happened. Quite a large pine tree over the back end of the hoe. Doesn't look good. Hopefully Hank is all right.
Tree did a lot of damage to the hoe there, wrecked the radiator, the hydraulic cooler, the intake, the muffler. Very hard to find parts for this old machine, so we didn't know if we were ever going to be able to fix it. So in the meantime, we had to employ some other strategy, kind of a plan B to step in for this machine that we're really missing.
Yikes, yeah.
Alright, there's something else that we bought recently. This is a 1010 John Deere, so made in 1965, a little dozer. Just really handy for doing all these roads and stuff. Grading all the roads. You can see everything's kind of coming together pretty good. It's difficult to make roads flat with an excavator. So a lot easier with the cat there. To get all this stuff going, it's not a powerhouse or nothing. Actually, it's the smallest dozer I've ever operated. So if you look up, that cleanup bucket is about half the size of that dozer. But it does a pretty good job, and we got lots of trails and stuff that we want to build around here, and you know, just wide enough maybe for a quad or something. So yeah, I don't want anything too big to make a big mess. We'll show you how things going up the house there. So we built the road going up there where we're going to build a house.
Squished by the tree. Oh, it's mucky. Oh, and here it comes. Crash. And this is the newest addition to our collection of vehicles and equipment. It's a little Willys Jeep. Take two on the stump. I know what Frank's thinking right now. If only he had Hank. Frank would just take one bite out of that and it'd be gone. Take 3. Oh, it's actually wiggling. It's like a stubborn tooth.
Hey, we're joined with by Ryan today, and he's giving me a hand getting this old motor running. So we figured out, we thought this was a 250, but it's not. It's a 235. It was in Chevy trucks and cars and stuff from about 1942 to 1962. So it's a pretty cool engine. We got a bunch of the parts off of the 216 on here. So yeah, we got her running, and we're going to fire it up. It's running kind of really rough now, but we'll just fire it up. Show you guys how it works. A little loud because there's no exhaust system on it. The compressor actually runs good, but we just can't get the carburetor to work properly. So if you pour gas in it, it runs fine. I can fire it up, put some gas in, it'll run, but it won't stay running. So this was the original carburetor that was in here, and it's kind of hard to find. So it's just a 1-barrel carburetor. You can see the size of the barrel. It's fairly small. So this was, that manifold was out of a 217 Chevy engine. It may be the same as the 235. But we're not sure. That's a 235 engine, but we have the manifold from the 217 on it. So we're having a real trouble finding a carburetor that'll work. We ordered a brand new one, came from India or some damn thing. It's actually from a Jeep, and it's the same size throughout, but it doesn't work. You know, you hook it up and you can start it by pouring some gas in the carb, but it won't stay running. If any of you guys has any idea or has a carburetor that'll work, I'd really appreciate it. We could buy it off you or whatever. But we'd like to get that compressor going so we can get in the mine, chip out that calcite, and keep running our railway to the back. We're kind of stuck without a compressor right now. So we're getting a little closer to get the hoe running, or at least we think we are. We hope we are. I ended up buying $3 worth of parts off of somebody who had a similar machine. Luckily, wasn't too far away. A few things don't match up because it is actually a EL300A. But so we just had to change a bunch of things around, and so there's the rad. We're sitting in there, and then the hydraulic cooler sits in front of it. Now it doesn't quite fit, so we're going to use our old one, which is a little banged up, but it doesn't leak or nothing. So we'll just use that, I guess. And if that doesn't work, we're going to have to move those two tubes. They're a little higher than the other ones. So anyhow, so we got a new muffler. Look at that fancy chrome exhaust, and there's a new intake. And then we also have a new hood for it over there. So hopefully, if everything goes right today or tomorrow, we should be able to have this old girl fired up and we can get back to working on our mine. This is where the house is going to sit. Not going to be a very big house. It's only going to be like one bedroom upstairs in the main floor and one in the basement. 1,200 square feet. Walkout basement. So nothing too fancy. It'll be a nice house, but it won't be that big. Wood heat. And there's a view. We got a nice view there. Luckily the hoe was still running while we had to do all this rock work, so a lot of rock to move out of here, and it was able to break it up and move it, and then we can use a bunch of rock to do our landscaping. So we'll have a road in behind the house. Right behind there's going to be a door there, so there'll be a road going up around the back, and then at the front part we'll just have a basement walking straight out here. So we're just waiting for some paperwork to get all that. Out here we'll have lots of displays and stuff, set up our tram. We see our converters down there already. Yeah.
So Hank has come back to life. He's off life support. He's not dead. Frank has revived him with some new second-hand parts. And it's looking as good as ever.
Thanks for joining us this week. We have a show every week, so we'll see you next week. Check out our new merch page. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Music is by the Adits.